In the past 150,000 years, almost 100 billion humans have lived and died on planet Earth. This number equals 12 times the actual global population of 2023. For those who want to live forever, is it good to be immortal? Imagine we are all immortals and still living with our ancestors, who are still sharing the planet's resources with us. Would life and immortality be possible with the actual global population multiplied by 12? The answer is no. Regardless of its philosophical, psychological, and theological perceptions, death is essential for life. Without death, life continuity will be impossible. This year, 2023, the global population has surpassed 8 billion. Last year, 67 million humans died. How does the global funeral industry deal with all those bodies? Are there environmental problems caused by funeral activities? The answer is certainly yes. As its name indicates, this video will discuss the global negative environmental impact caused by the funeral industry and some new promising green alternatives that can change it in the 21st century. My name is Talal Rizk. I will present to you a new green method of corpse disposal that I developed during the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown. I call the new method pedonation. With pedonation, we have technical solutions that other methods, in my view, could not solve efficiently. In this technical endeavor, I considered the practical, ethical, legal, environmental, and cost challenges facing the funeral industry. Death has always been a significant concern to humankind. All cultures have developed their rituals and methods for dealing with the deceased body. In a few cultures, corpse preservation is still a better choice. In contrast, the sweeping majority of cultures prefer corpse disposal. The choice between dead body preservation and disposal depends on cultural, religious, legal, and personal considerations and their beliefs about the afterlife, the body, and spiritual purification. Corpse green recycling is the third choice that has appeared in the last 2 decades. Mummification is the most known traditional method of corpse preservation. It was widely practiced in ancient Egypt and was known in some Andean cultures. Embalming is still practiced today, although it's no longer widespread. Modern methods of preservation, such as cryonics, involve freezing bodies, hoping for future revival. It's not widely practiced because of its high costs and the complex legal and ethical questions it raises. The scientific community largely remains skeptical of its feasibility and success. Any modern hospital has a morgue to keep the bodies of dead patients for a few hours or days before disposal by burial or cremation. Keeping a corpse in a morgue for more than 24 months is illegal in most countries. Since corpse preservation is more complicated technically, costly, and time-consuming, corpse disposal is more common and practiced by humankind than preservation. In the world, 67 million humans died last year. 56% were buried, 42% were cremated, and 2% used other disposal methods. There's always an intensive presence of religion in funeral customs. Each religion has its distinctive rituals, method of corpse disposal, and funeral customs. The difference in corpse disposal methods practiced implies differences in corpse decomposition rate, material resources usage, energy consumption, time, cost, and environmental impacts. Technically, any disposal method must deal with 3 corpse components: hard tissues, soft tissues, and fluids. In cremation, corpse soft tissues are disposed of by burning with fire. Bones are ground mechanically after incineration and then kept in an urn. In burial, decomposers such as microorganisms and scavengers dispose of corpse soft tissues. Bones are kept in the grave or could be removed after many years in a process called grave exhumation. In a sky burial, the deceased person's body is typically placed on a mountaintop or other elevated location or burial tower, where it is exposed to the elements and natural scavengers, such as vultures, that devour the corpse of tissues. It's most commonly practiced in the Tibetan region of China and some parts of Nepal, Bhutan, Mongolia, and the Zoroastrian communities in Iran and India. Concerning bones, the practice may vary in its details and rituals from one region to another within the culture that observe it. Even cannibalism was a corpse disposal method practiced in the past in some societies. A modern method called water cremation or aquamation uses a mixture of water and alkali, usually potassium hydroxide, to decompose the corpse's soft tissues over the course of several hours, leaving behind bones and a sterile watery solution. The remaining bones are typically soft and can be processed into ashes similar to those produced in traditional cremation. Aquamation is gaining popularity as an alternative to traditional cremation or burial because it has several potential environmental benefits. It typically uses less energy and produces fewer greenhouse gas emissions than traditional cremation. Additionally, it avoids the use of caskets and the release of embalming chemicals into the environment. It's important to note that the acceptability and legal status of aquamation and newly appeared corpse recycling can vary by jurisdiction, so it may not be available everywhere. However, its adoption is growing as people seek more eco-friendly end-of-life options. The first coarse green recycling method is a human composting, also known as natural organic reduction or human recomposition. It's an eco friendly and innovative method of disposing of human remains after death. Instead of traditional burial or cremation, which can have environmental and space related impacts, human composting involves converting the deceased person's body into nutrient rich soil that can be used for gardening or reforestation. The deceased person's body is placed in a vessel with organic materials like wood chips, straw, and other plant matter. This mixture creates the ideal environment for decomposition. Over a period of several weeks to a few months, natural decomposition processes take place. Microorganisms, bacteria, and enzymes break down the body's soft tissues into basic elements transformed later into nutrient-rich soil, used for fertilizing gardens or helping to reforest areas. The deceased person's bones are typically left behind after the composting process is complete. These bones are usually sanitized and reduced to a more brittle state but remain largely intact. The second recycling method is called promission. The late Swedish biologist Susan Vig Masek developed the concept. Promission is a proposed method of disposing of human remains. It involves freeze-drying the body using liquid nitrogen and then vibrating it into a fine powder, which can be buried in a biodegradable capsule. Promission is still an idea in the experimental and developmental stages. It's still not available in the market. The technical challenge that Promission is still trying to achieve is how to reduce human bone size using ultrasonic vibration after treatment with liquid nitrogen without direct mechanical force. The third and latest coarse green recycling method is pedonation. It will be discussed in detail in the following video. Pedonation is based on coarse dehydration using hygroscopic eco-friendly additives such as phyllosilicates. The process is fast, doesn't emit gases, and doesn't require heat, bacterial decomposition, or chemicals. The final product of the process is called pedone, a dry mix of additives with organic material preserved in a sealed biodegradable box. It's an odorless, sterilized, and storable biofertilizer that can be transformed within weeks after burial into natural soil by the effect of soil microorganisms. The end product can be buried in a pit to plant a memorial sapling or tree. In this video, we discussed the differences between modern and traditional methods of preservation, disposal, and recycling techniques of corpse treatment. We showed the techniques used in each of them. In the following video, we will focus on the pedonation method. We will discuss the strengths and weaknesses it has.